Talking Preps Fayetteville football. Billy Dawson kind enough to join us this morning. His team coming off a 48-14 win over Har-Ber to close out the regular season. Coach, pretty good regular season, but now it is playoff time, and this is what you lift all those weights for, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year, Blair. You get to prepare, you get to go play, and hopefully play well enough, and you're good enough to move on to the next round. And it's a fun time of year. The atmosphere's pretty festive, and our kids are excited.
Let me ask you about first off, going back to the Har-Ber game, you guys arrived late. Was that by design?
It was. We warmed up here, went through all of our pregame stuff here, and we just kind of wanted to show up over there and play, and so that was the plan.
Kind of a slow start. I was curious about that. We had several people ask about that, so I thought I'd just ask that since we had you here. But after a slow start, your team got rolling. Darius had another solid game. Flanagan, an outstanding game. The defense put up some phenomenal numbers, though everybody always talks about the offense. Really a strong game to build momentum for the playoffs, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I think Har-Ber's a pretty good football team. They're physical up front. They do a nice job on offense of running the ball at you. I thought their quarterback played really well in the first quarter and a half. And, they hurt us some, but I thought our defense did a nice job of tackling their backs, of getting them in some third and long situations, and then getting off the field. I think we forced, 5 or 6 turnovers, Blair. So when you had the opportunity to do that and you get 5 of them, then you're going to have a chance to win.
Yeah, you got to like that. Let me talk about Connor Flanagan. He set the school record for most yards receiving in a season. He's tied for the season touchdown record. He's 6 catches away from the season record for catches. He's had a phenomenal year. He will probably set those records this week, hopefully, for Fayetteville. Just talk about what a phenomenal season he has had. He has been so consistent game in and game out.
Well, he has, and it's been, it's not a 1 week, 1 week and bust deal. It's been 10 weeks. He's been phenomenal for 10 weeks. And, Blair, if the public could come out and watch him practice and what he does after practice and during practice, they would understand. I mean, the guy is a crafty receiver that works and works and works to better his craft. He's always looking for something a little different or something he can do a little bit better, and he spends a quality amount of time working on those things. And he's made himself, obviously he's athletic, but he's made himself a really, really top-notch route running receiver.
No question about it. One of many that your team has. Looking ahead now to Catholic, what do you know about them? How much preparation do you do over the course of the week for them? I know broadcasting-wise we do preparation. I know you guys do too. What do you look for when you're watching the films and breaking them down?
Well, defensively, we want to make sure we can line up, and we want to make sure that we can that we're sound in what those guys do, and they do a lot, Blair. They do a lot on offense. They have a 3-year All-State running back, Sammy Johnson. He's got over 1,000 yards. He's got 10 Division I offers. He's a quality player. And in the open field, we'll have trouble catching that guy. He's going to be the fastest guy probably on the field Friday night. And we're going to have to do a really good job of hemming him up and getting him on the ground. He's a guy that sees it cloudy and will bounce it to the outside and, try to outrun you. So offensively, he's a big weapon. Their quarterbacks also, they play 2 quarterbacks. One's more of a mobile type guy that's a weapon with his feet, and then one they bring in and they throw it around a little bit. So Catholic is a team that I've played before. They're going to be very excited to be here. Their kids are going to play extremely hard. They're going to be physical, and they're going to be very different, really, than people we've played because they do so many things. Defensively, on the roster, out of their starting 11 on defense, 9 of those guys are listed as linebackers. And so they kind of play a roll it out there, amoeba, we call it, defense, where they may be in any place at any given time. So it's going to be a little different for our offensive line in terms of protection and run blocking because of what they do.
It looks, looking at what I've seen on film, looks like it's kind of a 5-2-4, but the amoeba is probably a better definition because guys are moving around all over the place. It's definitely something you don't see.
They'll base out of the 5-2 or the 3-2 look, and then they get into some 7-man pressure stuff, and it's work for them. They're giving up 25 points a game, so they played it well. So we'll see how our kids adjust to it because it'll be something completely different than what we've seen.
No question about it. And they play a lot of two-way guys, so depth can be a big factor in your favor, correct?
Yeah, they do. They play a couple of guys both ways, quarterback being one of them. He also plays on the defensive line some. He's a 230-pound kid. They bring him in to throw it when they bring him in or to run it downhill, but he's a two-way guy. They'll shade some guys in there two ways, but, for the most part, they're going to travel about 85 or 90 guys. So for the most part, they're not two-way guys.
Yeah. Keys for the Bulldogs to be victorious on Friday night.
Well, I think we need to come out with a fast start. I think, offensively and defensively. Defensively, the first series will be huge, just trying to get used to the speed of Sammy Johnson. Offensively, it's coming out and seeing if we can get a fast start with stuff we hadn't seen before. So, it may take us a series to get adapted to what they're doing both sides of the ball. So, but I think a fast start, obviously not turning it over, and then just executing our stuff. Just do what we're good at and do it well.
No question, and I'm intrigued by this matchup. Watching Sammy Johnson on film, holy cow. He's like the Connor Flanagan of running backs in a way.
He's a good player.
He is very good. He jumps out immediately, and teams that have held him in check have had success, and teams that have not have paid the price, no question about it. One last question. You haven't played Catholic this year. Okay, the way the playoffs set up and everything, you've played teams before. Is it nice at this time of year to play somebody new? Does that help maybe keep the team focused as opposed to playing somebody you've played before at this point?
Yeah, and probably our kids have never played Catholic at all, and this group anyway. So this is completely new to them, and I think it's a good thing. We've played Bryant 3 times in the calendar year, and our kids get excited to play Bryant, but it's just a little different animal. When you play somebody you're not sure of, it's kind of like going to St. Louis and playing Vianney, where you're unsure, or Owasso, where you're unsure. It's just a different mentality our kids approach, and I think our kids have had a really, really good week this week. So I expect them to play well based on how they've practiced.
Well, it should be a fun one. It'll be the 4th time that Fayetteville and Catholic have met, and Fayetteville leads the series 3-0, so you have that in your favor.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Best of luck Friday night. We hope to be talking about a round 2 matchup next week when the time is appropriate.
Thanks, Blair. Go Dogs.
All right. Thank you, Coach.